God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals, be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired, to rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack. You got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. You can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. Let's get motivated with Cassandra Mack. How to stop a gaslighter from gaslighting you. That's what we're talking about today. Welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm Cassandra Mack, founder of CassandраMackMinistries.com and StrategiesForEmpoweredLiving.com. For more information about my books, one-to-one coaching, inspirational music, or a church by phone service, you'll see the link in the video description box. So how do you stop a gaslighter from gaslighting you? So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which the person attempts to sow seeds of self-doubt and confusion in the target's mind. Typically, a gaslighter is seeking to gain power and control over the other person by trying to distort your reality and by trying to cause you to question your own judgment, the facts of the situation, what you have seen and know to be true. The actual term gaslighting comes from a play that came out in the 1930s, which later Alfred Hitchcock adapted into the film Gaslight, in which a man tries to convince his wife that she is going insane so he can steal her fortune. And when he turns on the lights in the attic to search for her jewelry collection and the gas lights dim downstairs, he tells her it's all in her head, it's her imagination. And gradually she begins to doubt her own memories, her own perception. So that's where the term comes from, the popular movie that was adapted from a stage play. So how do you stop a gaslighter from gaslighting you? Now, that's the operative word, gaslighting you, right? So people are going to be who they are. We know them by their fruit. So they may gaslight somebody else. But when you apply the tactics that I'm going to walk you through, they will not be able to gaslight you. So it doesn't mean they won't try to distort your reality. I want to be very clear what I'm saying here so that you have a clear understanding of my words. What I'm saying is, even when they try to manipulate your reality, to sow seeds of self-doubt and confusion in your mind, it won't be effective. So they're still going to be who they are, but they're not going to have the same effect on you, causing you to doubt your own reality. So that's what I mean by stopping a gaslighter from gaslighting you specifically. So with that being said, I want to give you some scriptures, and we're going to go into the steps, because I think that the scriptures are important. And I want to start with John 16, verse 13. And it speaks about the Holy Spirit, right? And so it says, when the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. For he will not speak on his own authority, but whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. That's the English Standard Version. And so if we understand that our discernment, right, comes from the Holy Spirit. As you know, this channel provides Bible-based wisdom for navigating life with wisdom, resilience, and grace. So I always want to make sure you are at the right place. If you don't prescribe to Bible-based wisdom, then this video is not going to be for you. So as a believer, right, you have discernment. Human beings, we have instincts, we have intuition, and we have discernment. And so it is important to understand that you have discernment. And so you can discern when somebody's trying to deceive you, run game on you, guilt trip you, manipulate you, But what happens is, oftentimes, because we believe that seeing is believing, we will dismiss, downplay, and downgrade what our own internal mechanisms are telling us. This person is lying. This person has bad intentions. This person is trying to manipulate my reality to gain power and control over me. We may not talk like that, right? But the gist is, we know that something is off. That's the bottom and top line, no matter the verbiage we put to it. We know that something is off and this person is being deceptive in the moment. That's the crux of it. And so how do you begin to stop a gaslighter from gaslighting you? Let's walk through the steps. So number one, you must hold on to the facts. You know your situation. You know what happened, right? So let's say that you have a gaslighter who is trying to convince you that they didn't steal money from you, and you know they stole money from you. Hold on to the facts of the situation. Do not allow them to manipulate you. Or maybe the gaslighter said something very cruel and mean to you, and they do it often. And when you call them out on the way they speak to you, because they speak to you with hostility, they speak to you with a degree of dismissiveness, they humiliate you in front of other people. When you point out instances where they do that, they pretend that they don't know what you're talking about, or they'll even say that they didn't say that. And so it's important for your own mind to hold on to the facts, because they're going to try to manipulate the facts, and it will frustrate you. So hold on to the facts, meaning in your mind, hold on to what you know happened. If you need to make a few notes on a sheet of paper, make a few notes. They don't need to see your notes, but have the notes for yourself so that you can remember what happened relative to the situation that you're bringing to their attention. 2, don't defend your reality. Now, this is going to be really difficult, because the natural inclination when somebody is lying is to keep defending your reality when you know they're trying to manipulate you. But here's the thing you got to remember when you're dealing with a warped personality, right? You're not dealing with a person who walks in truth. You're not dealing with a person who's operating in integrity. And so this is important to keep in mind, because when we have a one-size-fits-all model of engaging different personality types, you're going to be sourly disappointed, because it's not going to work. And so when you defend your reality, right, to somebody who is concerned about you, to somebody who cares about you, to somebody who cares what you think, to someone who's concerned about you, that's different, because it's a two-way conversation where you're communicating to come to an understanding, to come to a resolution, right? But that is not the case with a gaslighter, and it's important to make these distinctions. And I think a lot of the advice out there doesn't always make these distinctions. And so if you're assuming and presuming that this person plays fair, then you will defend your reality, frustrate yourself when they keep denying your reality, because the assumption is that when you tell them, no, see, this is what you really said, or no, this is what happened, I remember it clear as day. If they want to evade accountability, why would they admit their wrongdoing? You're dealing with a gaslighter. We know people by their fruit. So don't defend your reality. Now, don't defending your reality is not the same thing as stating your reality. State your reality, but don't keep going back and forth, because in the going back and forth, they're actually draining and pulling on your energy. So speak your piece, state your reality, but don't keep defending it. That means don't go back and forth, tit for tat, each time they say something. Make your point and stand on your square. 3, stay on topic. And stay on topic by recognizing diversion tactics. And so they may try to divert the conversation in another direction because they don't want to deal with the issue at hand. You got to recognize diversion topics. So it could be, a diversion topic could be that they bring up something that has absolutely nothing to do with the point that you are making. Or you tell them, you know, I want to talk to you about what happened at the party yesterday. And when you have a moment, give me a call. So they call you and they're telling you about their niece, their nephew, their 3-year-old and how cute the pictures were. And you know specifically that you reach out to them, leaving them a message saying, when you have a chance, give me a call because I want to talk to you about what happened at the party. So they already know, they know what happened at the party, whatever happened. And they know that you want to talk to them about it. Yet when they finally speak to you, they're talking to you about their niece, their nephew. They're talking to you about the graduation, the baptism, the birthday party, the funeral, and everything, to the point where you start forgetting what it is you wanted to say in the first place. You have to recognize that as a diversion tactic. Or they may say something along the lines of, about what happened at the party, because there's something that I want to talk to you about too that happened at the party. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to introduce something else on the time frame where you've already said you want to talk about topic A. It's still a diversion tactic. So you need to recognize that. And so here's what you can do to stay on topic. So let's say you want to talk about what happened at the party. They call you and they say, I'm glad that you called me to talk about what happened at the party because there's something I want to tell you too. And they start getting into it, right? The thing that they want to tell you. You stop them. You say, hold on. I'm willing to talk about what you want to talk about after we talk about the reason why I called you. So I need you to hold on. Oh, no, but it's going to take a moment. I need you to hold on. And then start talking. Talk over them. Now, this is going to be difficult because if you are a people pleaser, if you feel that standing your ground is rude, if you feel that standing up to a gaslighter is being a mean person, you're going to have difficulty. These tactics are not for everybody. These tactics are for the person who is in a place where they are like, the gaslighting stops today. The gaslighting stops today. What you're not going to do is play me like I am Boo-Boo the Fool. You're not going to pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. So it's really when you are in that mindset. So you may not be ready for these tactics. So if you feel, oh my gosh, I could never do that. I can never speak over someone. Now, remember, you're not being rude. The reason you're not being rude is because you already said that you want to speak to them about a particular topic. You told them, hold on, let me talk to you about what I want to talk to you about, and then we can talk about what you want to talk about. You've already set the stage. They're disregarding your feelings by talking about what they want to talk about anyway, because they're diverting from the issue at the party. But if you don't frame it and see it that way, you will allow yourself to convince yourself that you were being rude, especially if you are the kind of person where you are not used to standing up for yourself, where you are not used to setting boundaries. This is going to be difficult. So you also have to be in the frame of mind if you're ready. If you're not ready, it's okay. You may still listen to the video. I say if you're not ready, listen to the video a few times, because sometimes we got to hear something multiple times to get ready. And you may find that, you might not use this until 6 months down the road. It's better to have the information, and then you can use it at a later date as you get ready. So you would say, I'm willing to talk about what you want to talk about after we talk about this. And then you're going to ask this question. Are you willing to do that? Yes or no. Put yes or no. Reason why it's important to put yes or no at the end is because you're dealing with a gaslighter. Now, this is not a tactic that you're using for a person who deals with you with integrity, honesty, and genuineness. I want to be very clear. These tactics are not for the individuals who deal with you in genuineness, in integrity, and honesty, and authenticity. These tactics are for dealing with a gaslighter, a manipulator. So be very clear about why you're using this tactic. So that will help you understand that you're not being mean, because you're being very firm and unwavering. So you're going to say, are you willing to do that, yes or no? The reason you want to put the yes or no is because you want to eliminate them coming back with long, drawn-out explanations. Well, I would be willing to do that, but I want to talk about, you looked at Sam and Gina at the party, and that's why you just want yes or no. It's yes or no. Either yes or okay. And then let's say they do that. They go off on a tangent. Then you will say, okay, I see the answer is no. We'll talk another time. Take care. This is hard, because this is having boundaries that are so unwavering. You are sending the message that we are not going to move until this is taken care of. And so you might say something along the lines of, I don't want us to waste each other's time on a conversation that has nothing to do with the issue that I raised. So I first want to make sure that we tackle that issue, then we can talk about what you want to talk about. See, you're so controlling. That's the problem. It's a diversion tactic, which is going to bring us to number 4. Don't react to name calling or absolutist statements. I'll tell you what an absolutist statement is in a moment. Don't react to name calling or absolutist statements. So name calling, you're so controlling, and that's why I can never talk to you about nothing. See what they're doing? They're diverting the topic so that you were not able to talk about what happened at the party, because now you're busy defending the fact that you're not controlling. I'm not controlling. No. And now you're not able to talk about the very thing because they don't want to deal with it. That's the whole thing. They don't want to deal with it. And it's going to do one of two things. It's going to either cause them to deal with it, or they're going to move on to somebody else. Either way, you won. So don't react to name calling or absolutist statements. So absolutist statements are when people use always and never. You always do such and such and such. No one always does anything. If there's one time you didn't do it, then that debunks always. You're never, if there's one time, then never is thrown out the window. And so when people use always and never, it is an absolutist statement. And you got to see it for what it is. And so when they name call or make absolutist statements, don't defend the name that they're calling you. Don't defend the absolutist statement. Don't say, I don't always. Remember the time I did so and so and so? Do you see, the minute you say, I'm not always such and such. Remember when I did such and such? You've taken the conversation in a different direction from the initial issue that you want to bring up that they are avoiding. This is master conversation tactics at the mastery level. And so what you can do instead is just repeat the issue you want to talk about. So when they say you never, you always, they call you a name, you're going to act like you didn't hear it. You are not going to respond to that. You will simply say, so you always do such and such and such and such and such. So instead of saying, no, I don't, you're simply going to say, the reason I called you today. Now, they're not expecting that. So that's going to throw them off because they're expecting you to argue about the always, the never, or the name that they called you. But for you to completely ignore it and move directly into the topic at hand, it is going to throw them off course because they're not going to be prepared for you to be that direct and unwavering. So they call you the name, you say nothing. The reason I called you is because I wanted to talk about what happened at the party yesterday, and then you continue with what it is, the issues in terms of the issues you want to raise. So you see how that works? 5, if you realize that they keep going back and forth with you, disengage. Disengage if it becomes a debate. And you can simply say, let me know when you're ready to talk about A, B, and C. You're going to insert whatever A, B, and C is. Then we can move forward with this. So what you're essentially saying is, we're not going to talk about anything else except for this. So if it comes to us not talking, then so be it. See, this is a hard stance. Again, you might not be ready for this. You might not be ready for this. But you are being very clear that you will not be gaslighted. And so this is only for people who are at the point where you are sick and tired of a gaslighter gaslighting you, and you were like, today it stops. Today it stops. And so you're letting it be known. Let me know when you're ready to talk about A, B, and C, and then we can move forward. Talk to you later. And stop talking. And so you're sending the message that no matter what they say, no matter how many ways they try to divert the conversation, no matter what they do, you are not going to converse with them until this issue is addressed. They're going to call you controlling. They're going to call you mean. Eat it. Eat that. What I mean by eat that is ignore it. They're going to call you all kind of things because it is going to frustrate them. Because, again, these are master level techniques that most people are not willing to apply. But it will force a gaslighter to stop gaslighting you. Now, they're going to still be a gaslighter, but their gaslighting will not have the same effect on you. They will try you, but it won't have the same effect. That's the key here. And it's interesting because I recently just did this with someone. And they were talking to me about everything else. I'm like, hey, we need to do such and such and such and such. I said, that sounds great. But before we do that, we need to deal with this particular subject. So let me know when you're ready to deal with this particular subject, and I'd be happy to such and such. No matter, anytime they text me or call me, no matter what it was about, my response was always, hey, glad you called. Let's talk about such and such and such and such. So they saw that I wasn't moving. I was unwavering. And I frustrated this person. And they realized that no matter how many ways they went around it, we weren't going to move forward until we addressed this issue. And we addressed the issue. We finally addressed the issue. I wore them out. And so I say to say, now you have to be willing to stand your ground. So again, I have to say that these tactics are not for everybody. This is very extreme. And only you know if a gaslighter has caused such extreme distress, such extreme negativity on your mental well-being that it leaves you with no choice but to say it stops today. And I'm going to take a hard, unwavering stance. It stops today. 6, when they push you or provoke you, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. See, that's what I'm talking about. Why every time I call you, you got to keep bringing up that issue? You need to move on. Don't take the bait. I can see how you could feel that way, but I really need to address this. So let me know when you want to talk about it, and I'll call you back. It seems like you don't want to talk about it right now. And that's okay. When you're ready, you give me a call and we'll talk about it. So what you're essentially saying is we're not talking about anything else except this until this is settled. This is going to really frustrate people. So I don't want you to be shocked when people are really frustrated beyond belief, because most people are not used to dealing with someone who is unwavering in terms of setting a boundary, that you're not going to manipulate me and try to gaslight me into believing I'm not being manipulated. You're not going to play me like I'm Boo Boo the Fool. Now, you may choose to have nothing to do with me. That's on you. But what we're not going to do is you're not going to be in my space playing in my face. That's what we're not going to do. 7, now this is the hardest of all the tactics in my opinion. Know that the gaslighter won't take any accountability. In most cases, right, when a person is doubling down on their gaslighting, you know your gaslighter, the gaslighter in your life. So know that most often they won't take any accountability. There are exceptions. So if you're dealing with the exception and they take full accountability and they turn around, listen, that's a beautiful thing. We know that God can change anybody, but the person has to be willing, right? So know that most gaslighters, I'm talking about the unwilling gaslighter, who's unwilling to change, won't take any accountability. So your goal is not to force them to change. And a lot of times, that's what people are hoping for when they deal with a gaslighter. Like, why can't I make them stop gaslighting? You can only get a gaslighter to stop gaslighting you. They will still try to gaslight you, but they will not be able to gaslight you, meaning they will try to manipulate your reality, but they won't be able to manipulate your reality because you will see through their diversionary tactics, their deception, and their lies, and you will not budge with your reality, and you will hold on to the facts no matter how many game playing tactics they try on you. So the goal is to inform them of the consequences that you will enact if they choose to repeat the thing that is a deal breaker for you. Now, you don't need to say these are the consequences, right? You don't have to use that word, because sometimes when people hear consequences, they may feel like, what am I, a kid? What am I, a child? But essentially, there are consequences to our choices. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's science. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction. And so you are letting it be known that if what happens at the party, right, whatever happened at the party, happens again, you need to know that I'm going to ... and whatever the consequence is. So you're not going to sit here and go back and forth with them. You're simply saying, if it happens again, this is my stance. And at that point, it's take it or leave it. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. It's take it or leave it. Either they're going to say, well, all right then. But the beauty is, even if they say that and they have an attitude, you know where you stand. You know where you stand. It's out in the open. You know where you stand. There's no more guesswork. You know where you stand. So again, this is a hard line. And you want to make sure that you are okay with whatever your consequences are, because you can't have a consequence and then not follow through, because then it's a wish, it ain't a boundary. And so you have to be clear. Can you live with the consequences that you say you're going to enact if the gaslighter repeats the thing again? Only you know. Otherwise, throw all of this out the window. It's not going to work. You have to stick to your guns, whatever they may be. And so this tactic of refusing to be gaslit is not about being a mean person. It is about refusing to allow someone who has a wicked agenda against you and someone trying to control, manipulate, and seek power over you and sow self-doubt and confusion. That's wicked, right? God is not the author of confusion. So if an individual is trying to do that in your life, then their intentions for you are not good. And you have every right to protect yourself. Scriptures say, above all else, guard your heart. You have every right to guard your emotional life. You have every right to guard your vulnerabilities. You have every right to guard what matters most to you. You have a right to do these things as a human being and as a child of God. And so again, you may need to listen to this a few times, because this is a hard stance. And you might not be ready, and that's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. You can get ready. You keep listening, and eventually you'll find the strength to say it stops today. And today might not be today, today's date. Your today may be 6 months from now. Your today may be 3 months from now. Your today may be a year from now. But at least you have the tools so that when you need use of them, you have them. So I hope this is helpful. And this will really help you to put a gaslighter in their place. Now, they're not going to like it. They're going to be upset because you are think about when you're dealing with a narcissistic personality, when you're dealing with a personality who is manipulative, why would they like the fact that you are not allowing yourself to be gaslit and manipulated? So you have to expect that they're going to be upset and angry. You build that in to your plan. You're already expecting this. So they may try to play the silent treatment game because they're angry that you brought up the issue at the party or the missing money, whatever the issue is. You can insert the issue. And this is their way of having a adult temper tantrum because they don't want to deal with what you're bringing up. You got to be prepared for this. And if you know you're not ready, again, you have the information so that whenever you feel like you may be ready, the information is at your disposal. So I hope this was helpful. I want to remind you that we have some excellent resources for you, starting with the Wednesday Wellness Club. Are you a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel? If not, it is the best investment you can make, especially when you become a member at the second tier or higher. You get access to our Wednesday Wellness Club, which is a therapeutic group that meets twice a month, focusing on mental well-being, mental fitness, emotional mastery, and things like what we're talking about today from a biblical lens. Second, if you struggle with confidence, pick up the book, Speaking Life into Your I Am. That is a book that takes scriptures that speak to who we are in God, and it walks you through the process of affirming those scriptures personally in your life. Speaking Life into Your I Am. It's available at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. Lastly, we start our Soul Fast on Wednesday, February 14th. We start the 40-day Soul Fast where we take out 40 days to give up negativity during the Lent season. And so if you are going to participate in the Soul Fast, Make sure to get the Soul Fast workbook in time. It's available at Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. The most recent edition is available on Amazon. I'll link the Soul Fast video so that you can watch the video to see what the Soul Fast entails. The video is detailed and it gives you a breakdown of what the Soul Fast is. So with that being said, take care of yourselves and each other. Be blessed, and let's do our best to be a blessing wherever we go. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 5 in the Bible says, "For you are all children of light, children of the day. We are not of the night or of the darkness. In a world filled with darkness, let's choose to be the light." It's your time to shine. Why don't you celebrate your life? Don't let no one kill your vibe. You got greatness deep inside. Let's be the light that this world needs, spreading compassion like a sweet symphony. This is spiritual war, so don't fumble the fight. In a world filled with darkness, we can be a bright light.